A period is approaching when relentless karma will begin to assert its power, exposing those who harbored ill intentions. In this process, individuals born under the sign of Pisces play a truly pivotal role. Every seemingly minor pressure, every attempt to manipulate their deep empathy, every deception, not to mention blatant betrayal, all of it will inevitably boomerang back to their offenders and ill-wishers. These individuals will find themselves caught in traps of their own making, unable to comprehend how they ended up in such a dire situation. For Pisces, this entire month will be a genuine whirlwind of events and emotions. Their senses will be sharpened to the extreme, yet they will surprisingly maintain a sense of detachment. Beneath their outward gentleness and pliability, qualities that had remained dormant will begin to emerge, and their power may even startle those closest to them. Karma, as is well known, forgives nothing and no one. It acts swiftly, unerringly, and at times quite harshly. Specifically, on July 4th, when Venus is in Gemini and Uranus is in Taurus, all carefully concealed schemes and secret designs will come to light. Many in their circle are accustomed to viewing Pisces as a perpetual shoulder to cry on, an endless source of support and selfless help. However, it is during this fateful period that all masks will fall away, revealing true intentions. For instance, a certain acquaintance, accustomed to complaining about life's hardships, approaches Pisces in an attempt to extract resources from them, be it financial aid, genuine sympathy, or vital energy. But for the first time, they hear an unexpected, mirror-like question in response: "What have you done yourself to get out of this, as you see it, unfortunate situation?" A deafening silence follows, then clear resentment. Imagine their astonishment when, just a couple of days later, it becomes apparent that this friend is suddenly deprived of help and support from all sides. Pisces, for their part, will not cause a scene or utter a single reproach, but all the energy that others tried to take, steal, or seize from them will miraculously return to them, through new, promising connections, enticing offers, and entirely unexpected opportunities. Those who seek to influence others through manipulation will inevitably encounter insurmountable barriers. In such situations, karmic retribution manifests not as a crushing blow, but as a silent, yet profound redistribution of energy flows. Individuals born under Pisces will gradually withdraw from the lives of those who unscrupulously exploited them, and as a result, these people's existence will begin to unravel before their eyes. It is during this period that retrograde Neptune facilitates the full unfolding of Pisces' intuitive abilities. Individuals who for years profited at their expense, be it in the workplace, within the family circle, or among so-called old friends, will suddenly begin to make both minor and serious mistakes. Pisces, meanwhile, will not initiate confrontations or make calls to settle scores, they will simply stop providing support in the form of resources, attention, and sympathy. From now on, the compassionate Pisces will no longer be seen. Their patience has run out. As an example, consider a situation where a colleague, who for years offloaded their responsibilities onto Pisces, attempts to do so again but finds themselves alone with the task and fails, missing deadlines. Meanwhile, Pisces calmly complete their own project and deservedly receive a bonus. Thus, all the burden that rested on Pisces due to guilt, fear, or, most often, their innate kindness, vanishes without a trace. Karma acts slowly, sometimes even sluggishly, but inexorably and mercilessly, nullifying all parasitic relationships. On July 7th, individuals born under Pisces will demonstrate their key, previously unrevealed means, the ability to decisively distance themselves from any manipulative schemes where they were used. Their immediate circle will be gripped by bewilderment. It seemed only yesterday that the person displayed sincere affection, but today they become completely unreachable. Their phone is off, they ignore meetings, and leave emails unanswered. For instance, a partner who exploited Pisces in a relationship where everything relied on their willingness to compromise, boundless forgiveness, stoic patience, and heartfelt kindness suddenly discovers that Pisces simply vanish. In doing so, the partner loses not only personal connections but also support from their social circle, and often valuable business contacts. It soon becomes evident, Pisces discreetly but unyieldingly exclude destructive individuals from their lives, and any attempts to restore the previous state of affairs prove futile. Here, karma takes the form of silence and irreversibility. The law of retribution acts indirectly, through external forces. Thus, former associates begin to experience financial difficulties and conflicts with new partners, while Pisces, conversely, discover unexpected sources of material well-being and moral support. On July 10, the full moon phase brings all hidden contradictions to the surface. For example, a close blood relative wove treacherous intrigues behind Pisces' back with the aim of unlawfully seizing part of their property or funds. It is during this period that compromising documents come to light, and seemingly accidental conversations fully expose the elaborate scheme of deception. Pisces, for their part, do not create noisy confrontations but calmly cease all communication and hand over the collected information to the authorities competent in resolving such situations. The outcome is predictable: the relative loses what they sought to claim, while Pisces remain undeniably victorious. The law of the boomerang may not always be instantaneous, but its accuracy is undeniable. No one will escape the consequences of their actions. Among the distinguishing qualities of Pisces that emerge in this situation are their subtle yet profound vigilance, which no one previously suspected existed, and a remarkable ability to wait, not revealing their intentions until the culmination. It is at this point that ill-wishers consistently make a serious miscalculation. They mistakenly believe they have managed to deceive Pisces, while the latter remain silent, creating an impression of complete unawareness. This perception is far from the truth. Notably, on July 13, Pisces will decisively refuse to be used by anyone, whether at home, within the family, or in the workplace. Anyone who attempts to offload their responsibilities onto them or resort to emotional blackmail will unexpectedly find themselves alone with their unresolved problems. A clear example can be seen when a close relative, accustomed to entrusting Pisces with the entire organization of family matters, fully relies on their perpetual role as family rescuer. In such a situation, Pisces will directly and firmly say, "No," then turn off their phone and go away for the weekend with friends, leaving the house in complete disarray. Just a couple of days later, the relatives themselves will seek help and realize for the first time that the boundaries set are rigid and final. Here, karmic manifestations are expressed in a complete rupture of accustomed interaction patterns and an absolute impossibility of returning to the past. The law of the boomerang is 100% activated. Those who previously exerted pressure and exploited others' willingness to help are now forced to resolve certain issues independently, having lost the habit of coping with them without Pisces' involvement. On July 18, individuals born under Pisces will become somewhat elusive to all those who previously shamelessly burdened them with their negative emotions, spread gossip, or imposed personal requests. Take, for example, a situation where a colleague, seeking their own career advancement, decided to report Pisces to management, revealing their secrets or confidential information. As a result, senior management will soon recognize the true culprit of the difficulties, while Pisces, conversely, will receive a new responsible assignment or a promising project. Meanwhile, the instigator of such intrigues will find themselves utterly devoid of support and influence. The destiny of Pisces, their karmic path, manifests not in the pursuit of revenge, but in the natural manifestation of truth. Any attempts to portray members of this sign in a negative light or accuse them will inevitably turn into a complete fiasco for those who dared to betray or cause harm. By July 22, all those who for many years, and sometimes their entire lives, systematically drained Pisces, siphoning off their time, emotional resources, vitality, and energy, will finally face absolute emptiness. Individuals born under Pisces will completely cease their former practice of accommodating others' needs, doing favors, and rescuing anyone from their own problems. They will simply take a break, immersing themselves in their inner world. As an illustration, consider a best friend who used Pisces as a personal therapist. Suddenly, she discovers she cannot reach them for weeks, and her own personal life begins to rapidly crumble. She has absolutely no one to vent her complaints to, no one to offload her negativity onto, because no one, apart from Pisces as before, is willing to endure her constant whining and endless complaints anymore. Meanwhile, Pisces are actively building new, fulfilling relationships, completely disregarding others' dramas and misfortunes. Everything that once relied on Pisces' support, which essentially amounted to a one-sided absorption of their positivity and offloading of negativity onto them, will finally disappear, and there will be no way back for former users. On July 24, individuals born under Pisces will demonstrate absolute intolerance for any form of emotional blackmail. A male Pisces, previously perhaps susceptible to manipulation, will now remain unwavering. He will no longer react to tears, threats, or attempts to draw him into exhausting confrontations. Instead of engaging in conflict, he will simply and decisively leave, without causing a scene, and completely sever all lines of communication. A female Pisces, who previously embodied the image of an ideal spouse or empathetic comforter, will undergo significant changes. For the first time, she will directly tell her partner, "I'm not going any further with you." And, once having made this decision, she will not return, even if the former partner starts sending messages to mutual friends trying to win her back. The consequences of such a decisive step for Pisces' former partners will be quite palpable. A series of relationship breakdowns will begin for them, and they will lose accustomed attention and support. At the same time, Pisces will rapidly forge new connections or simply enjoy their newfound peace for some time. Here, karma manifests in their complete indifference and absolute lack of regret. And this is fair, as their past compassion often led to the loss of their own positive outlook and the absorption of others' negativity. On July 30, Pisces will make a very unexpected maneuver. They are capable of forgiving those who hurt them, but they categorically refuse to allow these people back into their lives. For example, when a former partner attempts to return, appealing to shared memories and begging for a second chance, Pisces will listen calmly, with a slight smile, utter the phrase, "That's all in the past," and after that, no longer reply to any message. The outcome of such interaction is that the former partner faces insurmountable difficulties in building new relationships. And this is, without a doubt, a manifestation of karma. Pisces do not seek revenge, they simply continue on their path. And this is the heaviest retribution for those who once tried to play with their feelings, with their open heart. Such betrayal has no statute of limitations in their perception. The conjunction of the Sun and retrograde Mercury opens a unique period for monetizing empathy. The end of July marks a time when individuals born under Pisces will demonstrate an amazing ability to transform their innate talents, deep empathy, and established connections into tangible, concrete achievements. An example of this can be seen in a situation where an individual, for many years, drew ideas from Pisces, shamelessly copied their style, and tried to pass off others' work as their own. The result of such developments will be the emergence of Pisces' own, entirely new project or a highly sought-after service, while the aforementioned imitator, deprived of the original source, becomes completely irrelevant. They will collapse, losing clients and reputation, and ultimately be left with nothing, because their energy, in essence, transferred to Pisces. He who sought to appropriate what belonged to others ultimately gives up not only what they wanted to steal but also what they already possessed. By the beginning of August, Pisces will completely refuse to allow anyone or anything back into their lives. Anyone who ever abused their kindness, or, even worse, betrayed, tried to use them for their own ends, or showed indifference, will definitively remain outside their personal space. Pisces karma manifests not as a desire for revenge. It does not involve settling scores or causing scenes. It is simply an absolute and irreversible non-return. Those who sought only the gratuitous use of others' resources are now left alone with their inner emptiness. At the same time, new horizons of opportunities open up for Pisces, new social circles form, and entirely different meanings of life emerge. The law of the boomerang, although sometimes slow, is always inevitable and precise. And this time, it definitely sides with those who do not cling to the past but purposefully move forward, without malice, without imagined grievances, focusing solely on their own well-being.